just got to actually, manage your portfolio. Just about at the end, and I think this is just probably about the penultimate slide. Don't believe anything that Tim Burgess says about the Australian market only being skiers and some old people. There's a huge, huge youth opportunity out of Australia. Okay? Each year into Australia, sorry about the zero falling to the next line, we have 593,000 youth travellers come into Australia annually. 63,000 come on to New Zealand. Isn't that the biggest parcel of low-hanging fruit imaginable? So if you're out there and you're a youth operator, and even if you're really active and targeting the UK and Europe, really think about how your distribution works in Australia, because it's a huge, huge opportunity to go in there. In the good old days, and I said earlier that this is trend 17 or 18 or something for me, New Zealand used to be the turning around point in around the world tickets. And that's because really the whole trip was about getting as far as Australia and New Zealand. They didn't have all of Southeast Asia to stop at, and I'm looking out there for people that I was working with back 16, 17 years ago, and sorry Stewie, I'll pick on you again, but when I was based in London in the early 90s, you could get an Austravel charter flight to Australia for £399. It stopped somewhere, it wasn't Dubai, I can't even remember where it stopped. It was Dubai, then Singapore, then Darwin, and then down to Sydney. So there was no option for people to stop off in Malaysia, Singapore, any of those. So we didn't have to work nearly as hard on all of those people to get them to include New Zealand. So when you're thinking about your marketing budget, really think about what happens here, how you can engage with them. Danielle spoke of a lot of the work we're doing with the likes of STA and other youth operators in Europe. And a big part of it is, how can we talk to your travellers that we know you're dropping into Australia? How can we keep influencing them, not only before they travel to buy the onward sector to New Zealand, but when they're in Australia, how can we motivate them to get them across? Now, as I said before, a lot of them do, and are probably just captured in the Australian arrivals, but we really do need to do more in that space. Right, I was right. Okay, I'm just about on time actually, which is a bit unusual. But on Friday, I was lucky enough to have Gordon Titchens speak to a group I was with, and Gordon said that, and I can see all the Tourism New Zealand people crawling under their seats, because Gordon said that he talked a lot about all the All Blacks that he had brought on, and then he talked about how he was a very reluctant public speaker, and in fact he actually used Eric Rush as his mentor. And so he asked Eric, what do you do to, and this is actually, I'm just really hurting, look, the Tourism New Zealand people are getting really nervous here. He said, Eric, what do you do in these speeches? And he said, open with a joke, which I didn't, have a joke in the middle, which I didn't, and close with a joke. And he gave this horrifically filthy rugby club joke. Look, I'm just enjoying watching the Tourism New Zealand people. So I'm not going to end with a joke, Tourism New Zealand people. I was going to use Tansy's joke, but she's not here. Ask her for her joke. But look, just think about trends. This is my parting advice for trends. Think about trends a little bit like dating. And this is as close to Gordon's joke as I'll get. Think about it. You go on your first date, which is trends, make sure you follow up. Don't leave that guy or that girl hanging. So really think, the minute you have met somebody, do your follow up, and then start thinking about what's going to be your second date. Okay? Your second date might be trends next year, but more importantly, it should be a market visit. If you're really, really serious about these markets I've been talking about, traditional markets, work traditionally. So think about your second date. Key things also, if you're serious about somebody, is you want to meet their parents, go and see your IBOs. Think of your IBOs as a parents. They're the gatekeepers. They're going to tell you whether that relationship's going to work or not. That first year, you want to be cast as the role of the bad parent. But honestly, check out the parents. Go and see the parents. Get their advice as to whether this relationship's going anywhere. If it is, treat them special. Now, hands up, anybody who wants to get a gift or after the first date, second date? Absolutely. So think about what you can do for them. Think about how you can make it easy for them to sell your product, whether it be added value, extra commission, some space, whatever. So think about how you do it. Treat them special. And then, unless you're very lucky, and this exclusivity in a relationship, it's a big issue if you live in the United States, is, when are you only dating with one person? Most of the time you're not. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure your online dating profile is sorted. So get it out there. I mentioned before, go and see Catherine's team in terms of newzealand.com if you're not on there. So update your profile, because there are lots of others out there not seeking commitment. Hey look, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope you've got something out of it. If you remember nothing else, just remember, treat your dates well this week. Now, any questions before I get off the stage?